While in January I didn't have that many games and releases to talk about, in February I did pretty well with keeping up with the releases, mostly due to the fact that there weren't that many and the ones that did come out were shorter. I managed to play the Persona 5 Scramble demo that came out in Japan, the story-based Fire Emblem Three Houses DLC that I really enjoyed, a Pokemon demo, more Persona, and a series I tried for the first time and loved among other things. I've done separate videos on all the games I'm talking about in this one, but it was nice to revisit them and remember that last month was a fun-filled month. So with that, these are the JRPGs I played in February. If the glowing review I gave this game didn't tip you off, I really enjoyed the farming, dating, life sim, cross JRPG that is Rune Factory 4 Special. I played it after playing the Pokemon Mystery Dungeon DX demo that I'll talk about a little later in this video, and I thought Rune Factory 4 Special would be just another wholesome feeling JRPG to scratch that itch whenever I had it. Little did I know I'd become completely addicted to it, currently tearing myself away from it to review another game because more and more things to dive into just keep appearing in it. So when my Switch finally showed me my hour count was over 45 hours, I wasn't surprised, as whether it was another story arc, romance, another section to add to my farm, or otherwise, it's the first JRPG in a while I felt like I paid very little for it in terms of the many things I could do in it. And if I had more time, I'd be happy to put in the hundreds of hours of play that the game has to offer. If you want to know my thoughts about it in more detail, feel free to check out my review, but for now, all I have to say about it is that from story to gameplay, I was pleasantly surprised how much I enjoyed this cute-looking JRPG and the depth of its world, and I highly recommend checking it out in some form, whether with trailers of the actual game, because there's a reason this 3DS game was brought to the Switch, and I'm sure it's because it's so much fun to play. Much like Rune Factory, Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Rescue Team DX was a game I had to try purely because of how sweet it looked in its trailers, and after trying its demo, it ended up being mostly what I wanted it to be, a cute JRPG about Pokemon being Pokemon. Seeing that in its demo ended up selling me on the game, which I bought just a few days before recording this, even if I kind of wish it would swap prices with Rune Factory 4 Special because it seems to be on the shorter side. But the dialogue about Pokemon and Diglett having feet in its trailers and in the demo have got me in at this point, so I'm playing it more at the moment and will at the very least let you know what I think of it in more detail in a review when I'm done. Until then, I'm glad the demo is out so others can try it too and see if they enjoy the roguelike dungeon crawler and its super sweet dialogue. If you guys are playing it or the demo, I would love to hear your thoughts and what Pokemon you got in the quiz at the beginning of the game, so feel free to comment below and let's cross our fingers that the rest of it continues to be fun as well. One of the things I was most excited to play last month was the Fire Emblem Three Houses Cindered Shadows expansion, and while it didn't make Three Houses my game of the month again, it was something I greatly enjoyed and has me wishing I had more time to jump into Three Houses all over again. The 10-hour-long story was a good way to get back into the world of Three Houses for some new battles with a little bit of old with its familiar systems mixed with its new characters to play with, and overall, I was impressed how the characters did a good job of being ones worth getting to know, and since all of them are available to have in your party in the main game, that's something I'm excited to do sometime, both to get to know them more and to see more of how they play, even if it's only made the amount I have left over to do in Three Houses a little bit more overwhelming. I did also play around with various parts of the expansion pass such as costumes, and also with New Game Plus features such as using renown points, which seems even more worth it now, with some of the features Abyss brings means that I can use them to raise bonds and unlock everything. And while it wouldn't be totally productive, having that makes me want to restart my Blue Lines playthrough all over again now that I have these, especially since I'm not that far in. The DLC also for some reason got me a little more curious about Edelgard, I think just because I got to spend more time with her, so I feel like at the very least I need to start a new playthrough, but it might be a while until I do that. In any case, the DLC did a good job of refreshing some of my interest in a great game while also expanding it, and I'm glad I could at least finish one more route, even if I have the main ones to still do. So for now, I'm looking back on this game fondly and looking forward to the next time I play it, and I hope one day I can get stuck into its story again to finish every bit of it. Around mid last month, I opened up YouTube one day to see a bunch of games media outlets posting content from the English version of Persona 5 Royal, and I had a very heavy temptation to watch all that content to see what this game I've been following closely is like in English in the Royal version. I stopped myself though, as I've been making so much progress with the Japanese manga and was proud of my time with the Japanese version of the game in January as well. So instead I decided to play through Kamoshida's dungeon in Royal for the first time in Japanese to avoid spoilers and check out things for myself, and I'm glad I did, as not only was it a lot of fun, but now I have a healthy amount of hype ready for when it comes out in English later this month. Royal in January was reminding me just how much I loved the original and its opening scenes, and my time with it in February saw me feeling that too, but also enjoying new features such as the grappling hook that made dungeons feel expanded, and smaller things like new character portraits that help enrich my playthrough. And since I'm coming from the perspective of someone that's been wanting to do a second playthrough for a while but needed an excuse, the little things like that made waiting feel worth it, and I think people with that perspective, or those playing it for the first time, will get more enjoyment out of those parts rather than just waiting for the occasional new scene with Kasumi. So I hope those who do play it this month end up enjoying it as much as I did, as it's cool to have a new version of an already great game with even more content. Persona 5 Royal will still be my game for Japanese study until it's out in English, so once I get past Kamoshida's dungeon in the manga, I plan to play a little more soon. I'm just excited to play it this month at all because it really is a fantastic JRPG to play and return to, and the sooner I can play with it more, the better. Persona 5 Scramble's Japanese demo was my most anticipated release for last month, and it did not disappoint, with its action gameplay looking and feeling smooth, at least on PS4, and its attention to detail in places like Yongen-Jaya and its dungeons with its own hidden things have me excited to eventually try more of this newer Persona 5 experience. While we only got to try Joker's combat, seeing how we'll be able to pick up personas and use them with him was a lot of fun, and the game seemed to do a really good job of blending Persona's skill choosing and stylishness into a more action-based gameplay, and putting that with the lovable characters like the original cast and the adorable new character Sophie has me completely on board for this Persona 5 sequel. We're still waiting for that localization announcement, which I feel is more of a matter of when it will be announced rather than if, so I hope we hear about it soon. But until then, if you want to hear my more detailed thoughts, feel free to watch my first impressions video or give the demo a try yourself, and now that the game's fully out in Japan, let's hope we're the next ones to get it. Atelier Escha and Logy DX was an Atelier game I was very into at the beginning of the month that has admittedly been replaced by Rune Factory in terms of what I'm replaying at the moment. That's not to say I didn't have a lot of fun with it at the beginning of the month though. I got a few more assignments into my second playthrough and had a lot of time to spare towards the end of assignments, so I was using my second playthrough knowledge to use that time to get ahead of things I knew I'd need later, such as trying to create one of each item, getting to know characters, and doing the steps needed to get onto that true ending path while completing quests and raising the R&D department's rank. Somewhere between then and now, I ended up picking up demos and thus putting down Escha and Logy, but despite the fact I put it down, I think it's safe to say it's probably my favorite of the 3 Dusk games, considering I went back to it after Shally and would still like to continue my playthrough of Logy's route at some point, as I was enjoying seeing the scenes he has with characters that Escha didn't. So while I don't know when I'll pick it up again, I do know it's still up there in some of my favorite Atelier games, so like Fire Emblem, I hope to eventually get back to this one at some point, as I'd love to see its true ending eventually. March is underway already, and so are some of my gaming plans for the month. I've already started playing the full version of Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Rescue Team DX, and I'm enjoying that you can recruit Pokemon to your rescue camps, and aside from that, I'm patiently waiting until the end of the month to get into Persona 5 Royal that I really can't wait to play again in full. Those are my main plans for the month. However, as I mentioned, Mystery Dungeon seems shorter, and there have been a few JRPG announcements recently that luckily means I can can probably fill the time in between with some first impression videos for you guys. This is because I want to check out Final Fantasy VII Remake, as it just got a demo recently when I was very deep into my Rune Factory for a special playthrough, so I missed it. But now I'm done with that, and once I'm done with Pokemon, I definitely want to give that demo a try, as most of you probably know it's been pretty hard to avoid opinions about it these days, and I'd like to make my own opinion and tell you guys what I think as well. Also announced recently was the localization of a game I've been very interested in for a while, which is Void Terrarium, and I actually have the Japanese demo of that on my PS4, so this would be as good of a time as any to play it. So with both of those, hopefully that will adequately fill the time between games, and if not, I'm sure making videos on them will. Before a lot of delays, March was previously a very crowded month for games, but with what's left, I'm actually happy I have space to try these other experiences as well. So hopefully next month I can come back with many stories about what I played. So until then, I hope you enjoy what you play too in this quite a bit eventful month of more fun JRPGs. Thank you for watching this video. Let me know in the comments below what you played in February and what you plan to play this month. You can like and share this video if you enjoyed it, subscribe to my channel for more JRPG content like this, and ring that bell to get notifications on whenever I post so you don't miss a thing. You can check out more videos here, and you can find me on social media on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, all at JRPG Jungle. Links to those will be in the description below, and until next time, thank you, bye!